Hello everyone, my name is Raksha, and if you are watching this video, I am very happy that you are here. And today I am going to cover something that has been an exceptional catalyst in my journey towards myself, in my journey coming back home to myself. And it's that one line, but I am going to talk about the embodiment of that one line in today's video. And let's dive right into it. I will do anything for myself. This is one of those most powerful things that if we are able to execute, even in very, very tiny ways, which I'll talk about how I executed it in very quantum, very small ways for myself. If we are able to do that, you will be able to change the neurons, the neural pathways in your brain, which is literally the equivalent of changing the stars and the planets in the sky, and to literally change how your life turns out. It's just crazy to me how the circuitry and the chemistry of the neurons that we are able to change within our brain is something that can reflect in our external reality. That is what I meant by changing the planets, changing the stars in the sky, getting them aligned to yourself, getting them to work for you and to be what you want it to be, or even greater than that. And the beauty of it is that it starts within. The beauty of that is that we get to have some power over it. We get to co create. And that can start with something as small as embodying, I will do anything for myself. So there was this girl on Instagram, and if you are watching this, I hope you are watching this because you asked me this question. And there was some post, and on the post, I spoke about choosing yourself. And she was like, how do I choose myself? Because, funnily enough, we are raised with all of our energy and all of our attention pathways so outward, so towards others that we don't know what it means to choose ourselves. And for a very long time, I didn't know either. And she asked me, how is it that I should choose myself? And I'm telling you today, choosing yourself looks like doing for yourself everything that you would do for anyone else, that you would do for a partner, that you would do for your parents, that you would do for your friends. And I know that you may have heard this advice everywhere and it sounds extremely generic. So I'm going to give you very tiny examples of how this has perpetuated in my own life so that it goes to show that it does not have to be big things. It does not have to mean some really lavish things that you have to do for yourself, because we're trying to work at, like I said, a very, very quantum level, a very tiny level, which compounds and becomes the bigger pathway towards yourself. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples, okay? When I remember once I was having chai with my mom, and I like my chai in a certain way, and the sugar was a little less. So she got the chai for me. I'm sitting on the bed, we're chatting, and I was like, 2 minutes, I need to go and get sugar. Now, I know that it sounds very tiny, but it matters to me. So I have taken myself. Otherwise, like I could just get lazy and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna like have this. But I was like, no, I want more sugar. I want to enjoy this. So I took my cup of tea. I mixed sugar. I got it back to the room. Now I'm sitting again. And now the tea got cold. And then I was like, I don't like cold tea. Um, I need it like hot, like piping hot. So I was like, okay, wait, I need to go and I need to heat this up. And I took myself again to the kitchen and I heated up my chai and I got myself back. My mom was done drinking her tea. She's chilling. She's seeing what I'm doing. And in that moment, I realized that I have come to a place where I am so important to myself that something as tiny as that, but I will give it to myself. I will give myself the labor of having perfect tea because it's in my control. Of course, if I was outside and if the sugar was a little less or if it was slightly cold, I would just have it, no fret. But it was in my control and I did it for myself. With very tiny labor like that, you land up informing, you land up telling your subconscious that I am important, that I get to have things my way, that I get to have my tea piping hot and with the perfect amount of sugar, not less. And I know that it sounds very small, but that is how we start creating the pathway towards ourselves. Okay, I'll give you another example. So, I cannot eat as much food as others at one point. I eat multiple times a day, so I need like small feeds. And I was doing this course for to be a breathwork facilitator. By the way, I am a certified breathwork facilitator. And while I was doing that course, we had lunch together. And during lunchtime, they would give like rotis and salad and juice and sabzi and like so much that it was too much for me to eat at one go. Now, and I am also someone who leads with her values. And my value system is that I don't waste anything. I just don't, not even like a bite. Um, Sometimes even if half a sachet of sugar is left, I will just like, clip it and keep it and I will use it. For me, resources mean everything. For me, even a half a sachet of sugar is resource. Anyway, coming back to this, so I would have like one and a half roti, and whatever was left, even if it was very little food that was left. Maybe a few years ago, I would be embarrassed to pack it and take it back for myself. But this time, I was just like, I'm going to do anything for myself. I am going to lead with my values. I'm not going to let this go to waste. And at the same time, I would like to actually eat this. I had some peanut butter in my room, so I like to spread the dark chocolate peanut butter on like a roti and have it sometimes. And I was like, of course, I am going to have this because, you know, we are also probably raised in a way where it's like it's cheap to pack food and take it back with yourself. And I realized that that's a solid limiting belief, and it stems from the culture of personality and not the culture of character. And for me, belonging to the culture of character is the most important. So I had to let go of that limiting belief, and with some discomfort in my heart, I was like, I'm going to do anything and everything for myself. I will do anything for myself. And I, every day for 15 days, I would pack up stuff, even if it was very little stuff. I would get it like packed and I would take it back. And at the end of 15 days, I felt great. I felt so good that I did that for myself. So, did I come out of those 15 days having become more my own? Yes, I did. um, so that. And I'll give you one more example. So, there was this point. I originally live in Mumbai, and there's too much construction work. It's very difficult to move around sometimes. And I realized that my walking, it's not happening that much. Like to move around Bandra had become difficult. And morning there was pollution, evening there was traffic. And simply to get movement in, because again, movement is medicine, it's very important to me. If I had like a 2 hour time slot in the afternoon, during the lunchtime, in between my appointments, I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk to a cafe and walk back to get my movement in. And I did not mind paying for coffee, which is expensive in Bandra. But what was more important is that I want to get my movement in, and it does not have to be in pollution. It does not have to be in traffic, which is there in the mornings and it is there in the evenings. And I was like, if I'm unable to do that in the morning where everyone is like sweeping the roads and it's polluted, I will just do it at a point of the day where I am free. I can take myself out for a nice cup of coffee. It's okay to pay for it every single day. And at least that way, I'm going to get my movement in. And I realized that it does not have to be difficult. It does not, everything has to be um, difficult, and you have to bear this and you have to figure out how to get your movement in, and no pain no gain. No, in fact, I loved it. I think like going to the cafe would be used to be a lovely break for me. I used to leave immediately after my lunch. I used to get my walk in the middle of the day where traffic was very less, there were no sweepers on the road, and I did what I had to for myself. Again, a very small thing, but this is what choosing yourself looks like. This is the beginning of creating tiny, thin little neural pathways that go towards yourself, which is very new for us. Which is very new for a lot of people who have learned to pour outside of themselves. But this is what choosing yourself looks like. This is what um, creating a new reality starts with. Because once those pathways are connected, once those pathways have a direction and have synergy and have energy and have momentum towards you, you will be able to make bigger decisions towards yourself. You will be able to choose yourself in bigger ways. And that is how you create a bigger reality for yourself. So, yes, I know that the examples that I discussed may not resonate with everyone. They were just the things that I did for myself. They can look completely different for you based on your value systems, based on what your goals are, based on what devotion looks like to you, and based on what limiting beliefs you have to drop in order to get further ahead towards yourself. So I hope that this video helps you, and I hope that you have a glimpse into how you can choose yourself. And I will do anything for myself, and I hope you will too. I'll see you in the next one.